So you've got all these different senses. And the gut feeling sense, well, on the one hand, we have the enteric nervous system, the gut brain that's down there, and that's a major center of sentience. In fact, there's 10 times more information going to the brain than from the brain when we're talking about the gut-brain connection. Mostly the brain's listening. The gut's saying, listen, it's like this and this and this and this and this. And the brain's like, okay. So we've got this mistake in the West where we're kind of encephalocentric. We feel like we are our brains. But actually, sentience and consciousness is distributed through the entirety of the body. Yeah. Every cell is sentient. We know that molecules, hormones are like molecules of emotion, right? So if I just take epinephrine, adrenaline out of you and inject it into me, I'm going to feel your fear or your excitement.
Yeah, right. Okay.
If I take your pheromones and put them on a seat, women will respond in whichever way they're going to respond because it's a little package of sentience in a particular way. And so every cell in the body is sentient. Every cell in the body is feeling. Every cell in the body has an inside. Bacteria have an inside. They're all conscious and aware. Single-cell organisms, they're not like you and me. They don't have complex kind of internal neurotic processes, but they are sentient, And so a bacteria will go towards food. A bacteria will run away from prey. A bacteria will cooperate with its own tribe. A bacteria will communicate using quorum sensing to the rest of the cloud about what's going on. All of this without a central nervous system. No brain, no central nervous system, but obviously sentient. And so its sentience moves through hormones and through connective tissue, through fascia. So having just gone way down the rabbit hole, the take-home point here is that connective tissue in your body is one of the highways of consciousness through your body. And it's the highway that your body speaks to your brain. Your brain is listening. When your body is saying, this feels right, it's through fascia that it tells that message. And it goes up into the brain, and the brain then is just the switchboard to say, okay, liver says everything's okay, stomach says everything's okay, back is saying it's not feeling so great today, all of these different bits. And then when I say, how do you feel, your brain goes, averages all that out and says, overall, I feel all right. Speaking on behalf of the collective community, which is my ecosystem.
All right. It's a spokesperson. Yeah, fantastic.
It's mind-bending. The bottom line is that aspects of that gut feeling are traveling through connective tissue. And connective tissue is what you're working with in some forms of body work. And also, have you heard of yin yoga, like slow yoga? So, you've heard of hot yoga or slow yoga, or yin yoga is a form where there's long held poses. And in those forms like that, you're working not with muscles, which are elastic, but with fascia, which is plastic. And so you're doing these long held slow poses so that the fascia can slowly open and stretch, right? Which is what determines the shape of the muscles inside.
Wow. So when we then take that into a disease state, when someone is diseased, seeming that, would you say that most of the mass of the body would be then actually connective tissue?
I don't know about that, but if you take away everything that's not fascia, you've got a perfect map of the body, a more perfect map of the body than if you take away everything and just leave nerves, or if you take away everything and just leave blood vessels. The best map of the body from a single system is fascia, because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it certainly covers every shape and of the perfect outline of all of your organs, all of your bones, all of your outside, your facial features. There's connective tissue everywhere.
Wow. So with that framework, when you look through that lens, what is disease? Is it related to in between, or is it actually related to the fascia, or could it be either?
Well, that's a big question. What is dis-ease? And I think there's multiple things that cause us to not feel at ease, right? And so we need to have a complex answer. If there's a simple answer, then we've got it wrong. really. Yeah. Because, we can feel diseased and ill at ease and become sick because of an emotionally abusive and toxic environment, right?
Yep.
And so that takes place, We can become diseased because we live underneath the phone tower and we've got weird radiation. We can become diseased because we smoke cigarettes all the time, So I think it's important to acknowledge that there's a range of different, because we're multidimensional beings, there's a range of different dimensions in which we can lose our ease, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the body has this built-in homeostasis, this incredibly smart ability to respond to challenges and to keep us okay. So if it's too hot, we put a bit more fluids out, we cool down. If we don't have enough food, we've got too much food, all these different things, right? The body is constantly just doing this kind of amazing capoeira sort of Tai Chi sort of dance with the environment as it's feeding back, a little bit more, a little bit less, a little bit more, a little bit over here, a little bit, send a little bit more to the immune system, send a bit less to the immune system, and send a bit more to the legs and run away from the bear. Send a bit more here. Now it's time to feed the baby. We take it out of our bones, put it into the baby, but it'll go back to the tribe and come back. There's all these ways in which we're shifting in a dynamic state that we call health. Health is not something like this. It's a whirling dervish dance with the environment, right?
Yes.
And disease is where that dance is no longer harmonious, where between us and the environment, inner and outer environment, we're no longer there, right? But there's no longer harmony. But how that happens, I believe, is ultimately, like in any relationship, through a breakdown of communication.